What's up, guys? All right, so today we're doing another tier list in Rainbow Six Siege, but today we got a little bit of a twist. We're doing a solo queue tier list. We haven't done one for this season, so we're going to talk about some of the new changes to some operators and how they are if you're playing ranked by yourself as a solo queue player, and how effective you're probably going to be as a solo player using these ops. So we're going to go through it. Ignore the time on the top left. I'm doing a subathon, and we're doing this during the subathon, so ignore all that. Ace, easy S tier. I mean, you got a good gun. If your team doesn't help you get the breach open, I mean, at least you still got a decent gun. You're solid. You're set. You're good. Alibi, easy. You can set up the site. You can run around, frag out. You can basically do it all. And you can put a shield down if anyone wants to use it. I mean, definitely solid up to play by yourself. Amaru, honestly, I'm going to put Amaru the B tier. Normally, I put Amaru more the C or the D tier. Probably like the C tier. But Amaru, while you're solo, actually, Amaru can be an A tier. Amaru can be an A tier because it can be extremely effective, and you have a hard breach gadget. You can do a lot as Amaru, and you can get people off. You can jump people and catch them off guard pretty effectively. This is gonna be a long tier list, so I'm gonna put Amaru at B tier. I want to place Amaru at A, but I just don't think that Amaru has enough. I'm like kind of second guessing myself on that one. Here we have Rooney, A tier. You can make some rotates. You have a good gun, and nothing really wrong with the Rooney. Also, nothing that really requires another teammate. So let's go to some of the stuff that we're talking about. Thermite, I'm placing down at the C tier. This is a solo queue tier list. Thermite is a awful operator to pick in the solo queue life because, one, you have to basically require people to get the whatever's on the wall off for you, and two, I mean, you're stuck with like that 5.56. It's a decent gun, but like it's not the best gun in the world. And if your team doesn't help you, then you're just an entry walking through a door with a 5.56 and no real actual utility. Ace is rated higher because you chuck the thing at the wall and you're good. I mean, you don't have to really think about it. Thermite, you kind of risk yourself doing it. And you can't really rely on anyone to really cover you. So it's a little bit more dangerous, a little bit less of a payoff. I want to do another breacher. Oh, Thatcher. Hold on. Thatcher goes right next to Thermite. Same reason as Thermite, but for a different reason. I mean, same reason as Thermite, but obviously it works differently. It's like, hey, I'm going to EMP the wall, but if you don't have hard breachers or anyone working around you, you can't really do that much. Remember, this is a solo queue tier list. I'm looking for the Hibana. I'm placing Hibana more of the A tier because, like Ace, it is like you can just run around and frag and get, like, if they mess with the wall, who cares? I mean, you can just go do whatever else and play as an entry. So it's not as big of a deal for like Ace or Hibana. Hibana is slightly lower than Ace because I feel like her weapon kit is a little bit weaker than Ace, and you're gonna have to rely on your ability to shoot people down. So gun ability is going to matter quite a bit. Your just overall weaponry is going to matter quite a bit in this side of the tier list. Ash, A tier. Her utility is very lackluster as a solo player. I mean, you can get some utility off, but if they have the ADS or OMI, like, you can't really do much. And then your guns are not bad. Our guns are pretty good, definitely near the higher end, but you don't really have much else, and you normally have to take a gunfight with someone who is hiding behind utility while you're having to walk at them through that utility. Definitely stinks. Azami S tier. I mean, Azami, you can do it all as a zombie. You have walls on the fly, you have a good gun, you have a deagle for line of sight rotates, you have an impact for an actual rotate if you need to make one. Azami is just an overall good op in solo queue or in normal with 5 stack. Easy peasy. Bandit, D tier, easy one. You're gonna have to bandit trick by yourself with no backup. That is dog ass. Not great. Do not recommend ever doing that. Bandit solo queue is, you're basically, if you pick bandit for solo queue, you're picking bandit primarily for the gun, which is fine, and he is a nitro, but you are doing absolutely nothing with your utility. And I feel like you're just better off picking mute for that, and mute is an S tier. Mute's just an S tier. Mute is always an S tier, no matter how you slice mute. S tier. Smoke is gonna be an A tier. We're gonna talk about that in a sec. So mute is an S tier because you place your utility down and then you run around, do what you gotta do, try to find some kills. Smoke is an A tier because the way that smoke functions is more for site holding and holding off an area of the map, which is extremely strong if you have a good reliable team to play around. But if you're by yourself, I mean, even if you hold down a section of the map, they might just go around you. If you've ever held Oregon elbow as a smoke and your entire team dies and they're walking down freezer and laundry and tower and they just corner you at elbow, a lot of you have been there, trust me. It's not fun and it's very annoying and it's very frustrating to be smoke in that situation. That is literally the only reason why smoke is an A. Smoke in a team environment is definitely an S tier. Would not even have an argument about it. Blackbeard is going to be the C tier. Blackbeard, you can kind of cheese some people, especially in the solo queue. I'm about to sneeze, bro. Especially in the solo queue. So you can cheat some people, get on an angle, get on a line of sight, and just find your pick. You kill them, you win. So Blitz, B tier. Blitz, if you find the right situation, you find somebody lacking, I mean, you can catch them slacking. So, and I mean, Blitz is really strong and aggressive for taking aggressive map control and just kind of running around, just playing however you want and just, you know, having a good time. So Blitz, B tier. Buck, I'm gonna say Buck is also at the B tier. The way that his verticality works is you have to be underneath of something or above, and you're working on the floor, right? And a lot of times you're gonna be by yourself. You're gonna get flanks a lot, so it does make it a little rough. But actually, I'm gonna place Buck a little bit higher. We're gonna place Buck at the A tier because you might get flanked, but you could bait it. I mean, you have a skeleton key too, so like you get a lot of attention from everybody else. And if you play pretty passive while you're doing that and you're just gonna play for the flanks, you can get a lot of work done by yourself. Capita, D tier. I mean, that should be obvious. I mean, fire, smoke, I mean, and you're by yourself. You do have a hard breach gadget, but I just don't feel like Capita is an operator that you pick if in a solo queue environment. It's just not going to work. Castle, again, not an operator that you pick in a solo queue environment. If you're forcing people around you to play to your strategy, and it's not going to work a lot of times. I'll place Castle a little bit higher because there are some situations where Castle is kind of a normal pick, like let's say Bank. And a lot of people do know these setups. So Castle can be a C tier, but a lot of times you're not going to want to bring a Castle. Castle otherwise would be a B or an A tier in a normal team, but solo, definitely a C tier. I would not place Castle higher than that. Caveira. You know what? Caveira can be a C tier. I could see someone actually doing decently if you by only picking Caveira. Even at higher elo, like compared to these two ops, like Caveira can do a decent amount. If you're playing really aggressive and you have a lot of confidence in your gun ability, you can squad wipe teams with Caveira, or at least waste all their time so they're like focused on you and dealing with you while they get hammered at sight. Clash, D tier, don't even think about it, don't even do it. I should leave another tier up here so I could put Clash there. Clash is horrible, especially solo queue. Just horrible. Do not do it. Doc, easy A tier. Don't even have to. Actually, Doc at an S tier. I'm thinking about it more. Doc definitely an S tier for solo queue gameplay. No one's gonna complain with you being Doc. Because here's why: you have a decent MP5, decent gun, no worries. You also have the ability to heal everybody, which is great. You and yourself. So if you go into an aggressive firefight, you can just heal yourself. You're good. No one's really going to complain about that. And you also have a bailiff, so you are able to set up the site with the bailiff shotgun secondary. So you are able to set up the site however you want. You need somebody on your team that is going to be able to do that. And picking Doc, you can still do that. So not bad. Rook is B tier. I mean, the withstand is nice. The armor is nice, but nothing about Rook is really necessary. I mean, you do have a good gun with a 2x scope, and you are going to have impact, so you can do some work with that, but your overall utility is going to be very lackluster compared to like Doc. Doc just brings a lot more to the table. Solo queue environment, I just think Doc is a lot better. Well, this is Doc with the bailiff makes it A tier. Well, this is a solo queue tier list. This is not like I'm picking these guys like in a situation like I will not talk to my team. Granted, I would, but in a situation where I'm expecting someone to have zero comms with their entire team. So this is where I would place these characters in that situation. Doke, I'd still place Doke at the A tier. Doke can do a lot of work, and with the roam clear, I mean, even if I hear a Doke call going off, even if I don't know Doke's calling, I'm going to be a lot more aggressive in taking that firefight. So Doke definitely strong. DMR is not bad. I mean, Doke's weaponry is kind of mid, so it's a little. That's why your Doke's not S, but everything else is really good. So Doke, I think, does sit at the A tier. Echo D tier. You are going to die on your echo cams. You are going to die on your echo cams. You are going to die on your echo cams. So Echo as an operator is solid, but like you can't rely on anyone watching your cameras for one, and for two, you're gonna die on your echo cams if you are on them. So Echo on a normal team would probably be B or A, but not by yourself. No. Ella C tier. Gun is okay. Gun's usable. Prox alarms aren't bad. Ella does bring actually quite a bit now that I think about it. That could be B tier. You can play Ella up to the B tier. Brings a lot. Can use your ability on the fly to help you win a firefight. Not bad. Finka. I'm gonna place Finka at the B tier. I've seen a lot of people use her guns actually fairly effectively recently. I honestly didn't think that Finka had any use. I thought Finka was going to be more like the C tier, but the Finka heals are really strong. Like, let's get that first and foremost. 60 health, and you can revive anyone across the map. No worries. The LMG is still really strong. It does recoil like a bitch, but I have seen some people able to use it. So LMG is still really good if you can use that LMG. So I'm gonna leave it at the B tier, and it's up to you to decide if you feel like you can use that gun or not. The spear is horrible. So Flores, B tier. By the time you finish using your cameras, a lot of the time your team is almost going to all be dead. But the cameras, the Flores drones by itself will clear a lot of utility if you do have a situation where you can use them effectively. But again, you cannot rely on anybody to hold you while you use your drones. So you have to be very careful using these drones. That's why Flores B tier instead of A or S, where Flores would normally sit. Frost to me, honestly, in a solo queue environment, easy S tier. In a solo queue environment, easy S tier. You have an amazing gun. You have a shotgun to make rotates. You have a shield that you can place down to like hold a certain area, and you have frost mats. You can basically farm kills anywhere, and you know you frag them out, and they're just going to slow the attackers down a lot by them even know that you have a frost. So there you go, bada bing, bada boom. Same with Capcan. I mean 1-5 nitro traps that you might get a freebie kill across the map. Definitely solid. Remember, solo queue tier list. Glaz. I'm gonna place Glaz at C tier because I can see Glaz farming some kills in certain situations a little bit better than these guys, but not by much. And you have grenades, so hey, Fuse. I'm gonna place Fuse at the C tier. Again, Fuse does require like a lot of roam clearing, and Fuse is a 3 armor that makes a lot of noise. You are going to be extremely exposed when you go above a site or above where you're trying to fuse, and you're going to be in danger. You're going to be in a lot of danger. So definitely, I think Fuse can sit at the C tier. Can't rely on anybody else. You're solo. Goyo. Goyo's ability is very easy for teammates to use, so I don't think that you're necessarily it's a bad thing with no comms, but Goyo by himself, amazing gun and a nitro, so just a complete fragger in his own right. But his ability is a little lackluster with teammates, but they, it doesn't really hurt your team. So Gridlock, I just think that a 3 armor, especially when you're by yourself, is just going to be a detriment. I mean, yeah, you're gonna have flank watch with the treads, but you're gonna just have to take a gunfight with Gridlock in a situation you're probably not going to want to, and it's rough when you're a 3 armor. You can't really move yourself around as the way that you want. So I just think Gridlock is going to sit safely at the C tier. Grim is a horrible operator in a solo queue environment. I kind of like Grim in certain situations, but not while I'm by myself. Grim cannot do anything by himself because when I use my B gadget, guess what, brother? I'm not shooting them. They can run away. They can reposition. They can do whatever they want to. So By yourself, bad. Ayana, good. Even by yourself, no problem. Good gun, best opening duelist in the game. I'd like to think. And you have grenades, so can't really go wrong with grenades. Speaking of which, Sledge also has grenades. Speaking of which, Nook also has grenades. Grenades are king. Glass also has grenades, but Glass's weaponry requires him to be a certain way, and it just doesn't function the same. And you already have a bunch of other grenade options. So, Nook. So we're gonna talk Sledge. Sledge, soft breach as much as you want. Always fun to use. Find different angles and killing spots to reposition yourself and take them out. Nook is the rattiest operator in the game. I honestly believe that she is an operator that should almost always be banned in almost all situations, even at high level play. It is just really annoying having not because we rely so much on audio and sound calls that Nock completely negates all of that. So IQ completely horrible, especially in the solo queue. IQ needs grenades back, man. IQ with let's hypothetical. IQ with grenades, I think, does sit like in the A or S tier with grenades, but IQ without grenades is just honestly just horrible. Just lackluster utility all around. Jackal, I think sits around Doke. I mean, you can kind of function the same way. You can roam clear a little bit, and you have amazing guns as Jackal. So a lot of fun to use, even in the solo queue environment. Jaeger as well. I mean, Jaeger is normally an S tier operator, but in solo, I will put Jaeger at A tier because his gun is a little tricky to use, a little finicky, and you don't have a lot of soft destruction or nitro or anything to like maneuver around the map as well if you were trying to play kind of aggressive, which in solo you need to be playing somewhat aggressive. You can't play overly passive because you can't rely on your team to stay alive, so you have to play aggressive. Does hot sauce go on hamburgers? It can. Cade, I'm gonna place Cade at the C tier. Cade in solo land is rough. I like Cade a lot. Cade is one of my main go-to ops, and Cade in a normal environment is S tier. But if you cannot rely on your, actually, we'll place Cade a little bit higher because I feel like it is so hard to get the Cade claws off. You're at 3 armor with guns that are a little low-key, a little mediocre, but you do have a nitro, but it's just hard to do a lot when you're by yourself as a Cade. Like, it's, yeah, you can keep a wall closed, but if they don't even go for that wall and kill your entire team, doesn't matter. So, Callie, I would place Callie at the D tier. In fact, I will. Callie is almost to the C tier. I feel like Callie is, actually, Callie can be C tier. Callie, you can cheese some kills, like, you know, like with the glass or the Blackbeard. Callie can put people down really quick, especially if you find that just perfect angle. What's up, Cheese? How you doing? If you find that perfect angle to take somebody out, yeah, why not? And your ability, I mean, you run into a shield, you run into any type of utility, you can just destroy it. Somebody needs to get a wall open, I mean, you can get whatever's on the wall off, and, you know, it doesn't hurt. Legion, I feel like Legion is an amazing operator for the solo queue environment. You place your mines around, give yourself that audio call that you know where they're going to come from, and you have an amazing gun with impacts for maneuverability. So overall, all in all, definitely solid in the solo. Speaking of which, Oryx, basically the same gun, T5, and you have even more ability to run through walls. So, what up, Doug? How you doing? Lion, I'm gonna place Lion in the B tier land because the ability itself is pretty strong. Guns are strong. Most of the time now, people pick Lion for the EMP gadget. Speaking of which, we'll place those in a second. We pick Lion mostly for the EMP gadget to like open a wall, kind of like Thatcher. So you're gonna have to really rely that you have someone on your team to help you open a wall. If you don't have that, well, I mean, as Lion going through doors and hallways, you don't have that much utility to really take or push people around. So, and no, Doc's great. This is a solo queue tier list for those of you just stopping in. This is operators and how effective they are. If you are solo, you cannot rely on communication with your team. This is the tier list. Maestro, cameras while you are alive are really rough because people can just run up to you and murder your ass. Don't want to risk it, don't want to trust it, do not do it. So obviously this is not a competitive This is not a competitive tier list. This is solo queue for ranked. Like, obviously would not be ever in a solo queue environment in its comp setting. Yeah, Grim needs a 1-5 on his commando and EMPs. And then he's okay. Grim with a 1-5 and EMPs, honestly, he's more in here. I do think Lion is still better than him, though, even with that. Maverick. Oh, no, Maverick in a solo. Yeah, I think Mav at C is fine. No nades. You have to put yourself against the wall and, you know, mess with it. And by yourself, that's just so dangerous. You die so often doing this. Probably because you're not experienced with the bees. Like me. The only time I like Grim, personally, is in pushing Cafe Pixel. I like shooting the bees into the bathroom headholes and Pixel while I swing in. And if they swing out, if they try to swing me, they walk into the bees and they're spotted and I can just pre-fire the hell out of them. Mel, S tier, easy S tier. Anti-rat, anti-rat, anti-rat. Even in a more competitive scene, Mel is still an amazing op to bring almost in all situations, so. Mira, I'm gonna place Mira at the S tier because I feel like even in solo queue, Mira is still an easy operator for teammates to really coordinate around you, even without telling them. And if you play by your Miras, you're still going to be strong. So I think though, because S tier, because you can help the entries cleaning all the roamers. Yeah, but what if you don't have entries? You're solo. You don't have a team you can rely on. That's why she's A tier, because you don't know how your team's going to play. This is you by yourself, and assume that you have one of the worst teams you've ever had in your life. And you can't rely on anyone. It's just you. Guys, your team is going to do things. Obviously, they're not going to be completely worthless. But assume that your ability is barely going to... Like, a dope call isn't going... If I'm with a bunch of bums that are only going for, like, outside wall and then they just kind of bait the entire round, dope calls are not going to help them whatsoever. I'm a worthless ability. So, Montaigne, where's the blitz? Montaigne's strong. I mean, even by yourself, Montaigne is our force to be. You can just push up to people and just take them out. Like, it's a lot of people place Montaigne a little bit lower, but Montaigne fragging potential, even in a solo setting, is really strong. Like, I can show you guys. Like, I did a Montaigne guide where I basically soloed teams as Montaigne. Montaigne's a joke, but anyone that teams up on you, you're instantly negated. But if you're in a one-on-one situations over and over as Montaigne, you're probably winning them. Mozzie is going to be... I'm gonna place Mozzie at the B tier. I was thinking the A tier, but you don't have any utility really slowing anything down or giving your teammates anything at sight. So let's say you go run around and roam as Mozzie, and your team gets pushed on site. Now you're just running around by yourself and you're having to retake site, and that's going to happen over and over. So guns are good. Nitro, his ability is okay. Like, it's not bad, but he doesn't have anything to really slow down attackers. So Nomad, even in a solo queue environment, is great. I mean, you can watch your own flanks. Jab it off, keep pushing forward. The only problem is that you won't be able to get kills off of your air jabs most of the time if you're by yourself, but at least you'll hear them coming, so you know that you're not going to die. At least for a little bit. Osa. I think Osa can work pretty well. I mean, even because you can just be baity and just slowly push forward as they choose push follow, man. You can push forward and just kind of bait behind the shields. Do a lot. And if you do see a hard breach, you can help them with the EMP gadget. I feel like Osa is probably the best with the EMP gadget, with Lion being a close second if you don't want to play kind of a baity play style. Pulse. A tier. Run around the map. Go nuts, but get your kills. Run around the map. Go nuts, get your kills. Nitro. All that fun stuff. Bandit is too low. Bandit can't literally do anything by himself. What's Bandit going to do in a solo queue environment? I mean, the only plus to Bandit is that the fact of his gun, and he has Nitro. His ability is horrible. And most of the time people pick Bandit, you're probably going to Bandit trick. I would assume that most people are going to bandit trick. But when I'm rating bandit, I'm thinking more in the fact that you're a bandit tricking. Because there's really no situation where you should ever pick bandit if you're not bandit tricking. You're kind of throwing if you're doing that. So I assume that if you're picking bandit, you're bandit tricking. And bandit tricking by yourself is dangerous as hell. And you are probably going to die, and it's not going to be worth it anyways. So that's why bandit is at D. Sens, I mean, one of the worst operators in the game, and you're solo. Like, you just, no. The Chanka, I mean, you can make rotates. The gun's not bad. Your ability, though, is a little lackluster. Because if they swing you while you're using it, I mean, then you're just kind of sitting with your pants down. So, it can do work, but there are better options. Like, here's smoke. Thorn is an easy, at least a B tier. The guns are amazing. And your gadget is a little mediocre, but your guns are amazing. But in your mobility and able to make rotates in line of sight is a little weaker than other ops. But your overall frag potential in a one-on-one fight is extremely high with Thorn. So Thunderbird, I personally don't like Thunderbird because of the spear now, but I see some people running the shotgun with the bearing combo, and I mean, heals are pretty nice, but Doc does exist now, so I do think that did hurt Thunderbird a lot, but Thunderbird does have Nitro, which is always nice, so Thunderbird can be B tier. Which, A tier, amazing gun, can destroy utility, and honestly, you're probably going to win any firefight you get into if you're going Twitch in a one-on-one situation. Most of the time, you're probably going to come out on top unless they get the jump on you. So just play it smart, and you'll probably be okay. Tachanka is very situational, yeah, but I feel like every situation for Tachanka is going to be a little bit easier by yourself than any of these operators. Everything down here requires teammates to watch, like to hold your back and to watch you, or I mean that's kind of all of them. Like they require teamwork. All these operators require teamwork. That's why they're at the bottom. Yeah. I mean, some of them aren't even that good, but all of them require teamwork. So Valkyrie, I mean, kind of works like Echo and Maestro, but you are a little bit faster, so you are able to do more. But Valkyrie, I will place more at the B tier because I feel like the cameras aren't going to be super effective, but you do have an MPX and a Nitro, and you are going to be able to use your cameras more on the fly if you need to. Maestro and Echo, you're kind of playing for your cameras, but Valkyrie is a little bit more mobile, and mobility will win games, especially in solo land, because you never know what's going to happen. You can't predict it. Vigil, D tier, you just have really no utility, and people aren't going to join you anyways. I mean, let's be honest, they're probably not even going to join you anyways. So picking this operator is kind of a literal. Might as well pick Alibi or Oryx. Wamai, personally, I believe this is Wamai is S tier over Jaeger at A tier. Wamai has probably one of the best defender guns, easily. Has a Keratos for line of sight opening, and will have impacts for fast mobility. You also can throw your gadget without having to place it down and be in danger. You can just huck it and you're good. So I like Wamai a lot, especially in a solo queue environment. I like Wamai in a team environment too, because you always just feel safe when you're Wamai. You always play with your gun up. So Warden's going to be the B tier. You're probably going to be playing near sight, so you don't really have to worry about people overtaking sight on you. But if they do try to flash you or smoke you out, because a lot of people will go for this, like you basically get a ton of freebies. 1.5 scope and Nitro. Honestly, I'm kind of hard pressed not to place Wardens at C, but I do think the Wardens could be at B because of the way that Warden functions. You are going to be outside. If you're roaming as Warden, I place Warden at C, but I assume Warden is going to be somewhat near the site. Ying, near the beats here. I feel like Ying is going to be a little rough to. You can't coordinate a push with this, but you can catch somebody off guard. But the problem with those Candelas is that it's basically ringing a doorbell that everybody's going to come running towards you. So you might be able to snake one, but after that, like you're probably getting picked up on. And it's still good, but like I would rather bring frag grenades and kill the guys outright versus hopefully I flash them and I push them, you know? Yeah, as to the best. This is a solo queue tier list where you can barely talk to your team and you're playing basically on your own. This is a solo queue tier list. So if you guys are wondering, why is Jaeger S? Why is this guy there? Why is that guy there? Why is Thermite and Thatcher at C tier? Solo queue tier list. Think about it. 0, D tier. Don't even really need to think about that one. Anyone that involves or relies purely on cameras is going to be very, very weak. That's just how it is. Zofia. I'm going to play Zofia at the S tier. I feel like Zofia is near the bottom of the S tier, but you can get through anything on your own, essentially. So, like, utility-wise, definitely an S tier. Your gun is a little tricky to use, but it is pretty strong. L list, you didn't take a second. You just got here, kid, and you have no idea what we're even doing right now. This is not a normal tier list. This is a solo queue tier list for people that are probably going to solo queue most of their games. Like, a lot of you guys that are watching this in the ranks pool are going to be playing by yourself. Can't really rely on anyone to help you open a wall or play whatever. I definitely suggest picking more of the S and A tier operators, and you're probably going to win more matches. So, all right, guys, that's the list. This is it. If you guys have any, this is the next couple minutes. Who do you think we should move around and why? This is a good time to do it. I'm looking around. I think this is pretty solid. Got it how I wanted it. With the more teamwork oriented things at the bottom, and more like basically it's like less teamwork, more teamwork, or like even if it requires teamwork, you're still really strong even if it doesn't function that way. Like Ace is an S tier solo queue op because I mean, one, you're gonna need a hard breach, but he's probably the best solo queue hard breach. No. Which should be S. Well, Twitch, you have to rely on using your camera a little bit, and you don't have any real utility clearing as Twitch. Like, let's say someone's behind a shield, right? What is Twitch going to do if someone's behind a shield and you have to walk into the door? You die. That's why Twitch is at A. So you have to figure a way around. So it's not the best in every situation. Love your streams, appreciate you, baby. Appreciate the follow. Blackbeard is B for solo play. Well, I feel like it comes back to the same situation we were just talking about with Twitch. Twitch is a little bit more mobile. Blackbeard is less so. You're gonna have to push a shield at some point, and someone's gonna be behind it. So, fighting from Dan the Man, I switched some of the other tiers. Yeah, but the other tiers are kind of like your personal experiences. All of you guys are gonna feel a little bit differently about some of these ops, but I don't feel like any of these ops belong higher up. This is how I feel on these ops. Like the S and A tier, you're gonna have to really convince me if anyone should be moved into there from any of the other tiers, or anyone from there moving down. Valka's S tier, solo or stacked. See, I just don't agree with that because I feel like you can't rely on the cameras. People be marking on those things at any elo. The cameras are basically irrelevant. Now you're just kind of an MPX running around machine of destruction with a nitro, which you might be able to use a camera for a nitro. So like I feel like Pulse functions better than Valkyrie in a solo. So best SMG of the game? No, not even close. The MPX is definitely not the best gun in the game. Not even close. There's a way better defender guns. No way that Zero is going from here to A. Zero is a horrible solo queue operator. I am very strong on Zero being a D tier. You may be able to use Zero in solo, but overall I would definitely not recommend anyone do that because you're going to be on your cameras waiting around being kind of baity, and most of the time you're going to be in a 1vx or a 1v3 situation where you're by yourself. Name one guns besides Ally. T5, the AUG, the Carbine, that's just off the rip. Who else? The AUG from Cade, the MP5, who else? Elo's gun, Thorn's gun, Thunderbird's gun, Vigil's gun, Bandit's gun, Echo's gun, Maestro's gun. Like I can just keep going. The MPX isn't a good gun. You have to get a headshot or you die. Headshot or death. with the 1.5, it's different. Well, 1.5 makes it a lot better. The 1.5 makes everything a lot better. Line should be moved up one tier. See, I thought about line. Line was kind of hard for me to place. But like, I feel like again, like the EMP. Oh, line does have to get a Gon 6, doesn't he? I will move line up on the contingency that line does have a Gon 6. I forgot that he did. Because you can EMP like in ADS and Gon 6 a shield. So you're able to push in something by yourself. Okay. That's fine. Vector from Mira, sure. Do you think Ella's a good spot or should be buffed more? I think Ella's in a okay spot. She's not in a great spot. She's okay. I think Wamai has the best gun or Rooney, personally. But that's my own bias, maybe. I don't think the MPX is bad by any means for Valk. I don't think it's bad, but it's definitely, I don't think it's like heads and shoulders above everything else. No way. It's being a get B and not A because she's horrible in terms of recoil. Her guns, if I just did Finka off of her guns, Finka's at D tier. Finka's only at B tier because she can heal her teammates and herself. Finka's guns are horrible. Some people are able to use it, but all in all, Finka is horrible in terms of just your normal guns. Again, for you console players, on PC, her guns were nerfed into oblivion. You get recoil that you are hitting the ceiling and the floor and both walls. Like, it is crazy to control that gun. And the spear got massive recoil too. He did run it with 50 bullets to the mag? Yeah. Ella's not S tier? No, Ella's definitely not S tier. You have low mobility, you can't make rotates, and you're kind of like, you're playing line of sight firefights. So, like, everybody higher than her has some way of making holes for themselves or can maneuver a little bit better than her. So, no, it's horrible, Lux. If you're talking her T-Bird gun, she does not have an 80% pick rate. It is way lower than that. Unless you're talking purely console. Console, she might be high, but this is a PC tier list. So, why is Cade B? Cade's weaponry, honestly, is kind of mid. And if they just go around you and don't get the walls open that you have Caded, then it's like you just kind of suck as a 3 armor with low mobility with guns that are kind of mid. You can still do work. That's why it's B tier, and it can work if they, you know, are trying to get the wall and they can't. But in terms of solo functionality, B. So Sens is a horrible operator. All in all. All right, guys, this is gonna be the list. I'm gonna stay at this. So if you guys have any complaints or, like, you know, you think something else, make sure to leave that down in the comments below on the YouTube video. Appreciate you guys coming by. Make sure to subscribe, drop a comment, and leave a like for more. As always, daily uploads, daily content on the Twitch and the YouTube. Peace out, guys.